because with drugs, it's always the drug is the voice of saying, don't think about that right now. Be with me. Yeah. Be with me. It's okay over here. Don't think about your future. Don't think about buying a new house. Don't think about getting married and getting a new car and all this stuff. Just come hang out with me. We'll be okay over here.
We'll be cool.
As long as you're over here, you'll be good.
Yeah.
You know, and you get scared because you get comfortable and you get addicted to that. And especially with opiates and opioids or whatever, that shit it's the worst. I've seen like terrible withdrawals with that.
I don't believe it's fair. Slicking out there, it's all I hear.
It's the reason what a man to me. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers, man.
Dude, I like mild bell peppers.
Those, like you dice them up, put them in an omelet, little onion, little cheese, little meats there.
A lot of hot sauce.
A lot of hot sauce. I'm a guy that likes pico with his eggs. Anything eggs. If it's like an omelet or scrambled, obviously not really like over easy or stuff like that. But omelets, you put a good layer of pico on there, put a little guac on there, dude.
Yeah.
You put a little cheese in there, dude.
My thing with pico and eggs though has to be separate, and you got to get a bite of the eggs, then put some pico. So the pico's cold. Okay. Because the pico cannot warm up.
Oh, okay. You don't like warm pico. That makes sense. That's
go good.
What about like the type of pico that you like? Do you like really watery pico or you like chunky pico?
Chunky, a lot of onion.
Yeah, I like it a little crunchy. I like a little crunch.
I like onion. Don't like the watery crap.
No.
You're like, what is this, tomato sauce?
Yeah. So the reason why that happens is because the tomatoes that they use, it's like Roman tomatoes don't do that. And those big red ones, I forget what they're called.
Mush.
Those ones.
Mush
they're
tomatoes.
So juicy. Yeah. Yeah. Roman tomatoes are what you want to make pico with. Dude, I'm about to make a mean pico when I get home.
I'll make a nice one.
Dude, mine's going to be angry. Like
angry.
Freaking.
It's got
probably domestic
Serranos,
violence.
habaneros.
Like so bad.
Monster energy drink.
Monster energy drink.
I said domestic violence, so.
A wife beater on.
Speaking of domestic violence, guys, don't leave because we're talking about pico. Today's a very special episode.
Oh, yeah.
Nicholas has got his pickle into a pickle.
Into a pickle. My pickle's been pickled, man. Oh no.
You left it in there too long. And it was pickled.
It got pickled. Oh man.
Nicholas has begun the procreation process with a female.
With my female.
His female. He owns her. He hit her over the head with a club one day and he was like, mine.
My female. You have my babies now.
And now she's like for real his because, once you impregnate someone, that's obviously your property.
It's just...
You have a legal claim to her.
I like almost just went with that, dude.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Everyone knows that.
For sure.
I thought that was part of the rules. Does nobody read the rules anymore?
Yeah, when your sperm goes in their egg, like a little contract draws up.
Yeah, and your sperm writes out this contract, the egg signs the contract, sperm goes into the egg with said contract, making that your woman.
It's like the owner of me owns the owner of you, sign on the dotted line.
Now he owns you because he's in you.
And now you are creating...
We're creating a small little him you.
A you, Mimi.
So pretty much what we're trying to say is that my girlfriend's pregnant.
Yeah, he's going to have a baby.
Yeah.
In approximately...
in August. It'll be an August baby.
August?
Mm-hmm. It was almost a September baby.
So late.
Its due date is the 10th right now, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's either the 8th or the 10th. I don't remember.
I wish it was September. Some of the coolest people I know are September.
So when we first found out, we're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be the beginning of September. But we didn't know exactly how many weeks we were in. So because we thought we were like 4 weeks, and we got to the OBGYN and sometimes Y, and he was like, nah, you're 7 or 8 weeks. So
damn,
it's going to be an August baby.
So when did you guys like plan to have a baby?
When we slept in the same bed together.
But were you like, because
we talked about it for sure, because we were like, if something like that you got to have the discussion. If you're going to be serious with somebody, you got to have the discussion of, if something happens, you get pregnant, mistakes happen, accidents happen, are we going to take care of the child? Which that's always been my stand. I would like to raise the kid. I'm not.
Yeah, I'd
about
prefer
abortion.
not to blend it up.
I don't. Yeah, I consider that murder, honestly. So I don't want to murder anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like super against it, but I also like would prefer not to do it, I think.
Yeah, it's hard for guys. It's hard for guys to have an opinion on it, because everybody's always like, guys can't say.
Well, I think we can have an opinion.
It's like, yeah, if I'm going to raise that thing and I'm going to pay for it for its entire life and take care of it, I think I get a say, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's your DNA. That's what I feel like. You get
a say. It's part of you.
Because I mean, it sucks because girls can they can choose regardless, because obviously it grows inside them.
Yeah, so and they can go there without you and without your consent.
They could do that, but they could also have the baby without your consent. Like, you have no say. You can't be like, you have to get an abortion.
That's true.
And then,
I in my opinion, I'd never say that. So
right, but then you have to pay child support. Mm-hmm. But a guy can't be like, I don't want it. You can have it if you want, but I don't want to pay child support.
Well, you wouldn't have to pay child support if you were to take care of it.
No, I know that. I know you're together.
Even if you split up, though, if you're going to watch it half the time, she's going to watch the kid half the time.
50-50 custody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Which there would be, I mean, speaking of me specifically, there would be no reason why I would not give 50%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, except your meth addiction.
Oh, yeah, except for that.
As long as you pass the P test, if you trick the judge.
Of which, can you pass the pipe?
Yeah, but we got to turn the camera
on. The light bulb?
The Adderall pills.
Okay, that was we actually did that. I actually did that.
Oh, I did. Oh, you smoked Adderall?
No, I never smoked Adderall. No.
I was like, I don't even know if that's possible.
Dang.
I've
seen people smoke pills before.
Oh, I've smoked pills before.
I've never smoked a pill
amphetamines.
Before.
I did when I was addicted to opiates. I smoked.
Yeah, because you can do that on tinfoil.
Mm-hmm. I tried it, but honestly, don't do opiates. But
don't do that.
I tried. The weird thing, so I first started taking them. Mm-hmm. It was the ones with Tylenol, and they were 5 milligrams.
Yeah,
and then those started not doing great, and then I was able to get the stronger ones that are just the oxy, and they're smaller pills, but they're stronger.
Yeah,
if you get the blue ones, are 30 milligrams. And I was taking those, and they worked good. And I don't know why. I just sent myself down a spiral of doing worse and worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's usually what it does. It pushes you to do that,
right? But I feel usually you because a lot of people use drugs with other drug addicts, and usually it'll be someone that shoots heroin, and then you're like, oh, can you shoot me up? Or they'll be like, oh, it feels better if you shoot up. Why don't you try that?
Yeah.
But I just sent myself down that trajectory.
Oh, you were just I bet this would be better if I smoked it. Or if
I was I think snorting it would probably, because I was Googling shit. I was like, what's the absorption rate when you swallow it? And it was 70%. And I was like, what's the absorption if you snort it? And it was 85%. And I was like, well, then I don't want to waste any.
Well, then why was I not doing that in the first place?
So I started snorting it.
Yeah.
And then a couple months later, I was like, well, I wonder if you can inject it. And it turns out you can.
I mean,
and that shit got bad.
Yeah. I was with drugs, I was pretty stupid because I always never wanted to touch heroin or anything opioid, but I would snort Tylenol sometimes. Just, I don't know why.
Why?
I thought it was something that would get me high.
Really? When?
when I was doing all sorts of stupid shit. It was like that experimental phase. This was probably, I think sophomore or junior year.
Oh, like high school?
Somewhere in high school, I would do stupid shit. It was when I started doing like ecstasy. Once I started doing ecstasy, that's when I started I was like, ecstasy's great. I need to try all the drugs.
That's funny. Dude. I never tried
stupid.
ecstasy, but so many people at our school were doing ecstasy like freshman year. Like they would go to raves and do ecstasy and stuff.
I think, I think it was freshman year is the first time I did ecstasy. It's either freshman or sophomore. I don't remember how old I was. I remember being scared as shit though.
Yeah.
I remember being like, cause I did it with my cousin Jeff and he was like, dude, it's awesome. He was like, there's not going to be any backlash. Like it's just an awesome drug. And I was like, okay.
But doesn't it make you depressed the next day?
Yeah, because it drains your
dopamine.
Your
serotonin.
Your serotonin and your... Well, yeah, it's actually serotonin. Strictly your serotonin sac just drains. It just empties that out. So the first few times you do it, you don't get that side effect because your body is not like damaged.
So it's like
I feel
if you
like
abuse
it damages it a lot.
But maybe you feel like a little bit lower the next day.
Yeah, you probably feel like melancholy.
But it's not like terrible.
No, you're just not feeling all happy and shit. You're just chilling. But if you like, this is why with ecstasy is very dangerous because if you take ecstasy multiple days in a row, your serotonin cannot reproduce more serotonin
quick enough.
Like you can your serotonin sac is what they call it, can only fill up within like 5 days.
Yeah, I don't think there's a sac, but I get it.
Okay. Anyways, I looked that up in high school, so maybe you're right. Either way,
but it can't produce quick enough.
Yeah. So if you start taking ecstasy and you don't have any serotonin, your brain will pretty much start using other stuff. So it'll create a hole in your brain. That's why people talk about, I got a hole in my, like rappers say, I got a hole in my brain, blah, blah, blah. It's because they've taken too much ecstasy and they're literally ripping their brain apart.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought the hole in the brain thing was because of ecstasy is often mixed with other drugs and a big one is meth.
Yeah. It's only cut with it.
Right. Mixed cut. So I thought that most of the damage came from like the drugs it's cut with, but like MDMA itself isn't like super terrible for you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure abusing anything.
So I mean, you got ecstasy, and then you got fucking Molly, fucking straight up just MDMA.
Yeah, like actual Molly.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Molly is way more intense than press pills.
Pure MDMA.
Yeah, and it's insane. Like almost, it's you like almost have visuals.
Yeah,
you know. And which is a crazy thing to think about because all it's doing is dumping serotonin into your brain, which is just feel good stuff. But
it's funny because MDMA is like the one drug I never tried. And now I'm like, I had problem with drugs. So I can't really fuck with anything.
Yeah.
But I've still thought like I would like to try that in like a controlled situation.
Yeah.
Maybe if it ever became like a legal therapy, I would go get it. Like at a doctor's office where you actually take it and you go through therapy.
I for sure can see them doing that because if they can make the excuse of heroin helps with pain and Adderall, aka meth, helps with studying, then I could totally see them be like, ecstasy makes you feel better and the bad feelings go away.
Well, there is like proven studies with MDMA. Same with ketamine, but MDMA, the thing is, so you know how it floods you with serotonin. So you know how it makes you just feel like everything is perfectly okay.
Yeah.
So if someone has like PTSD and they like experienced, they were at war and they saw their friend's head get blown off. So apparently if they go to like therapy, they take the MDMA and they're having that like beautiful, blissful feeling and they walk through that again. It will like change the feeling they have toward that memory.
Yeah.
And that's how it like cures it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen...
Don't try that on your own.
I've seen certain things about that with, I think it's shrooms and acid.
Shrooms.
Because shrooms, with shrooms, you're more honest with yourself.
Yep.
Because you have this like moment, a lot of people will have this moment of clarity of like, why am I so hard on myself? And why do I look at myself this way? We're all the same, like, That's how like a lot of people have that kind of feeling with shrooms. And that's why they're like, if you are able to break down your walls that way, it helps you with a lot of therapeutic.
Dude,
like,
so this is going to sound
paths.
crazy, but shrooms, I think it actually kind of changed the trajectory of my life.
I'm sure it did, man. Shrooms are great.
Because it makes you be more honest with yourself. It made me see a lot of areas where I was being fucking lazy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like hoping that success would come without actually like pushing myself.
Yeah.
And I took him that one day. And then literally after that, I've been so much more driven. And literally my life has changed so much in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's 100% credit to that, or it's maybe partially that and partially that I've always wanted to like work really hard.
Yeah.
But it kind of helped me see like, yo, you're being a bitch. Like quit being a bitch.
Yeah.
Do the things you need to do.
Yeah.
And your life will, keep snowballing forward.
That's kind of crazy to think about, because from an outside perspective of knowing when that happened and seeing you before and after, when we started first hanging out, you were getting back into the gym and like changing your life back. And then you like really dove into that hardcore and like got back to it, you know? And then after that is when we started, like probably a year after that is when we started doing the podcast. And then maybe like 4 months into the podcast, we did that, or I don't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then like after that, you just like, you guys decided you wanted to move, and like you were making these big steps in your life that seemed like maybe you were scared to do before, or like even just think about to do before. So I definitely saw that happen. Right? Yeah.
I think the thing it was, it told me that like anxiety is okay and it's never going to be gone.
Yeah.
And just because you're scared of something doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't move forward with it.
Yeah.
And that has helped me so much.
It's so crazy when you like talk to people that have done that and then they explain, oh, this is how I felt. And you're like, I totally understand that. It's hard to explain. But if somebody does explain it in a certain way, like it's always like, oh yeah, that's kind of how I felt, which is weird because really the trippy side of shrooms is dimensions. Like things get bright and vibrant. Like, some things like move or like they get wonky.
They're like kind of cool.
And it's like, how does that coincide with like making me feel that way?
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Like, why does it make you think differently?
Yeah. I've never really watched any documentaries or gotten too far into shrooms and stuff, but there's so many people that like live, breathe, and die by that stuff. They're like, I microdose every morning and it makes me feel great, which is cool.
It makes sense.
And I can understand that, but I've like in my experience with any sort of drug is like when it's something like that and it's a psychedelic, like moderation is key.
Yeah.
You don't want to be doing that all the time.
The other thing about shrooms that I think makes me think that they can be beneficial, at least for me, is that I don't have any desire to do them again. Like that is not a drug that I take and I'm like, wow, I feel amazing. I'm gonna do that every day so I feel okay.
Yeah.
As with like opiates, it was like, wow, this makes me feel like life is okay. But it was kind of opposite. Opiates took away all my anxiety and we're like, everything's fine. When really it wasn't fine. I should have been working hard towards a goal.
Yeah.
Shrooms kicked up my anxiety and was like, anxiety is fine.
Yeah.
Lean into it.
It's a part of you. It's a part of human nature.
So they're so different. Like opiates are like masking problems. And then mushrooms are like, here's the problems, fix them. And then also it doesn't make like, I know a lot of people do shrooms a lot. Like it's a fun drug for them.
Yeah.
But for me, ever since then, I haven't wanted to do them again.
Yeah. I've never like the only times I've ever done shrooms is when they've been presented to me. Yeah. Like I've never bought my own shrooms. I've never done that. But anytime I've gone on a camping trip or somebody's just like, hey, I bought these chocolates. You want to have fun? Or if I like, and even then, if I got stuff to do and I'm like, I don't want to be on shrooms doing that stuff, I'll be like, no, sorry, dude. I don't want to do that. But I mean, if I'm going camping and my buddy's like, I brought some shrooms, I'd be like, that's awesome. Let's look at the stars. And do
might
some
be fun.
shrooms. Yeah, I did that one time and like okay, you know those time lapse videos like of the stars or like something, you know how they kind of have like fish lens kind of dome feeling? If you take shrooms and you lay on the ground, first off, laying on the ground like in nature feels amazing. then you look up the trees and see like twilight stars. That was like one of the coolest experiences on shrooms.
Yeah.
That was amazing to see. And it looks like those time lapses videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird.
That is crazy. Dude, drugs are weird because like, and addiction is weird too because
oh man, yeah.
I went to rehab, 5 years ago, for the opiates. And in rehab, like all you hear is that you're an addict. You're always going to be an addict. You cannot mess with any mind altering substance or it's going to lead you right back into your drug of choice and you're going to be homeless.
Yeah.
And the only way to get around that is to stay sober one day at a time and to talk to other addicts in like AA meetings, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I was like not a real addict or if like that's not the path for everyone to like healing.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think building my life into something that I'm happy with and like can be proud of was enough for me to be like, I don't want drugs.
Yeah.
Because when I wasn't proud of anything I had done and I wasn't in a place I wanted to be, the opiates covered up those feelings.
Yeah.
But now I don't have those feelings. Like, yeah, I still get anxiety.
Yeah.
And I still have bad days. But I'm like, I'm working towards shit. And I'm cool with myself now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know if,
that's
AA
kind of
is the only way.
Yeah, it is kind of weird because I feel like that's the same way how like it's a way more intense version, but it's how people procrastinate because with drugs, it's always the drug is the voice of saying, don't think about that right now. Be with me. Yeah. Be with me. It's okay over here. Don't think about your future. Don't think about buying a new house. Don't think about getting married and getting a new car and all this stuff. Just come hang out with me. We'll be okay over here.
We'll be cool.
As long as you're over here, you'll be good.
Yeah.
And you get scared because you get comfortable and you get addicted to that. And especially with like, opiates and opioids or whatever, that shit it's the worst. I've seen like terrible withdrawals with that.
Oh, it's the worst.
I was talking to Lael about this today because she had, I forget what it was, something dental, but she had something where it was probably like her wisdom teeth removed or something, but they gave her oxys for it. 2 weeks worth of oxys. Yeah. 2 weeks?
So like 14 of them or like 28?
I think it was 28, 2 a day.
Damn.
I was like, what the and she said after she took those, the second week when she was done, she was having bad withdrawals.
From 2 weeks.
Bad withdrawals.
2 weeks will
she was crying. She was like, uncontrollable crying. Just my emotions were everywhere. She was like, I felt cold and hot all the time. She was like, it was horrible. It only lasted, I think, 2 or 3 days. But she was like, that was the worst. She was like, I don't know why anybody would even put themselves in that position. Dude. And it's crazy because you see it happen and you know that they don't want to even be there. There's so many people that are addicted to heroin.
It's physical.
Don't even want to be. Like, they want to get out of it, but they can't.
Yeah, at first it's like a warm hug that's like, forget all your problems. And then it becomes, take me or feel the worst pain you've ever felt in your life.
God, yeah.
And that's crazy.
Go through
and
hell.
It gets you quick. Literally, I think if most people took 2 a day for a week.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks for sure.
Honestly,
just like she went through.
I feel like if you went through a week of just taking 1 a day, I bet you would feel it.
Yeah.
It does not take that much.
It doesn't. It's crazy. It's so insane. Weird that it has that effect on your body. Isn't that weird that there's a plant that if you like distill it down, take out that molecule, put it in your body gets used to it and it's like, I need this permanently.
That is wild.
It's weird.
It's an insane addiction, especially with people that have addiction problems. Like, you could be addicted to anything. The fact that people say it's not addictive forming, it's like, what is that? Like the only thing I know that's like that is heroin because, it's like you get addicted to it, sure, but you could get addicted to anything. But the part about addictive forming is like you have to do it now. Like you don't even get a choice anymore.
So that's physical dependence.
Yeah.
There's like a separate, because cocaine addicts, that's an addiction. You don't get as much of a physical dependence.
Okay.
Like you will be depressed.
Yeah.
And tired probably for a few days. or whatever, and meth, you'll be really tired and depressed.
Yeah.
But you don't get that sickness.
Yeah.
That
so
like,
okay, so there. I mean, really, when you say addictive forming, it's more of it's an up or habit forming. It's more of an upper that keeps you feeling good. Something that makes you feel really good is addictive or habit forming.
Yeah, I think a lot of different things can be habit forming. I think any opiate or amphetamine, like Adderall, that's like a habit forming.
That's what I'm saying. Though.
Anything that could become
it's weird though, because people could be addicted to fucking potato chips. You know,
they are.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not though,
right?
Because I don't have an addiction problem.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody that has an addiction problem and loves Lay's potato chips, it's going to gain 600 pounds. You know,
it's weird. There's different kinds of addictions too. Okay, so my mom and her cousins. There was, let me see, Mom, Troy, Jake, Justin, Jason. So I think out of like 7 kids in her generation, 5 of them were drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them was never a drug addict, but is a food addict and is now like 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And I've seen him gain weight over the last, he's always been big, but over the last few years, he's gotten very, very big. Like, doesn't get off the couch.
Yeah.
And people bring him food type of thing.
Wow.
And it's crazy because he never had a drug addiction like his siblings did.
Yeah, but he has
an addiction.
And that's another thing that I don't know why people say that addiction isn't genetic. Because it's like, dude, I've seen whole families be addicted to stuff and generations of families. Like that looks pretty genetic to me.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
It's weird.
I guess because to say something's genetic, you would have to like identify a specific gene.
You'd have to be able to pull a specific gene and
maybe we just haven't found it yet.
That's what I'm saying. You know? I mean, if we haven't found it yet, then
we could have just not found it. But also, I think camera change. Sorry about that. Thing froze. But okay. So addiction, genetic, but it also could be environmental because like a lot of those family members, they grew up in like poor households and like their dads weren't around and just weird. I don't know, like exactly what would have caused it, but
product of your environment, you know.
Yeah, so environment.
It does happen a lot, which is sad, but.
And then I grew up around drug addicts, and it wasn't like people using drugs in front of me, but I knew that they were using drugs, and I knew what was going on, and I heard about it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then also grew up poor, didn't have a dad.
Yeah,
so could have a lot to do with it.
That is such a huge thing. Like if you don't have a male role model that's there, especially as a man, the only thing I can do is talk as a man. I can't talk from the girl's perspective, but if you don't have a male role model to tell you, this is right, this is wrong, and to be the man to tell you you're a fucking idiot for doing this and like really be in your face about it.
Or like, just teach you like right and wrong and enforce that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is when you can learn right and wrong from your mom, right? But you do something and like your mom gets upset with you, it's not the same because she doesn't understand from a man's perspective.
She can't explain it in a way a man would care about or understand.
The man will be able to tell you you're being an idiot because this is how a man acts. This is what a man does. And you're not doing that or whatever, I'm saying like discipline wise, the hard side of life, which that's a lot of guys need structure. They need like toughness in their life as well as, kindness. They need a dad that knows how to be kind and give you a hug and also smack you upside the head if you're being an idiot. You need both of that. And you don't have that. You don't have that guidance. Who knows what you're going to get into and what you're going to try to explore and experience because you don't know and you don't have anybody to really guide you through that.
So there's actually studies, and the number one or one of the top reasons for success, like someone grows up, they get a good degree, they make good money, they, take good care of their children, etc. The number one like factor of that is if you grew up in a 2-parent household and your parents were married.
Wow.
And they both parented you.
Wow. That's crazy. I thought you were going to say the opposite.
Nope.
And the only reason I say that is because of you.
Oh.
'Cause your drive, dude, is insane. I've never seen I don't know anybody else with your drive.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. And I actually had some notes about stuff we could talk about success and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I've just always had this fucking like drive in me that was like, I don't want to die in the same place that I was born. Like, I want to improve my life and give my kids a really good life.
Yeah.
Little stat.
And that is Big Bang Theory. And
Sponsored. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's just been like my biggest driving factor. I'm like, dude, I just want to. I always heard stories about like, oh, you can come from lower class and you can make your way up and be wealthy and you can like
that's like the
see
whole
the world.
Point of America,
right?
Is to be able to switch classes.
And I was like, I would like to change my class, please.
Yeah, because I mean,
I don't like math.
I mean, if you think about it, it really doesn't make sense in a monarch sense that if you're a noble, something could happen to where you can be kicked down all the way to a peasant, and you can't climb back up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get an opportunity to climb back up.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
You just
that's just how that structure
is. You were either
is.
born in the right family or you weren't.
Yeah, that's it.
In
but
America,
even if you're born in the right family, you can still lose.
Oh yeah, they can kick
but
you out.
You can never win. You never win.
Not when Joffrey's king.
No way, dude. Joffrey will freaking
he'll laugh at you, bro.
Yeah, and then
make you get naked and then shoot you with a bow and arrow.
Oh, with a crossbow. Yeah. I just watched that recently. I was rewatching Game of Thrones for a while.
Dude, you know who Joffrey kind of looks like?
Who?
Okay, you didn't go to middle school with him.
No, I didn't.
No, not Joffrey, but Austin Barton. You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, in middle school, he looked so much like Joffrey.
No way.
Dude, he looked exactly like him.
Austin Barton, did he have a bowl cut in middle school or something? Didn't he was like buzz cut?
Yeah, his hair was a little longer in middle school and it came down in the front.
Okay.
So it kind of looked like that.
He kind of had this straight across.
He had like, dude, almost the same face as Joffrey.
That's so funny,
crazy.
dude.
But then he grew up and got a lot taller and shit. But.
Yeah, he looks way different now.
All right, so the podcast idea I wrote down earlier this week to ask you was, how often do you think about success, making money, your future, and how you're going to make it happen?
Oh, that's a
just
good
like
question.
How often do you think about that?
That's a good question. Oh man, let me think about it. Every time, I'll tell you this much. Every time something goes wrong in my company, and like in my head, I already have some sort of solution that I want us to work towards. Usually that'll bring up the thought process of, once we get that, then I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to do that. And I have all these goals in my head that I want throughout the years. But I would say, honestly, specifically work-wise, my company, I would say probably once every other day, maybe.
That's what you think about it?
Yeah. I would say definitely throughout the work week when I'm working, there's so many things that go through my head about how I want to improve my company and how I want it to be where I want it to be.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm asking is kind of, that's part of it.
Okay.
But then like, how often do you think, like when I'm 40 years old, I want to have this, this, and this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to have this much money in my bank account. I want to have this kind of house for my kids or my spouse. I want to be able to help people in my family with money.
I don't know. That's okay. So certain things like I want a specific house. I want a specific car. Things like that. I don't think about too much because the price tags don't really matter to me. Like things that are shiny and big,
Or I guess,
like buying stuff like that doesn't really matter to me. But having a good house for my family is important to me, and having a vehicle that works proper and is going to get them from A to B. Yeah, those are important to me, but I don't think of them as full goals. Certain, I guess the house I do.
Like, how do you picture your life?
So, okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I definitely do think about that a lot. I wouldn't say I have any set goals for specific things like that. Like, Well, I do have near future stuff, but I don't have long term. Like if in a perfect world, if I had the money and I could get the house, when am I going to be there? And like,
yeah, like do you think about like retiring or like?
Yeah, I definitely do think about that a lot. And that all, like a lot of it starts when I take over the company. That's like going to be a flip point in my life, right, because then I'm going to have
a lot
the control to be like, okay, this is what I want with the company, and I'm going to do this with the company. And with those comes, the other goals that I want in my life, getting a house, getting the cars that we need or whatever. And even just with the company, like getting certain things like company trucks and, company phones and stuff like that, new uniforms, more employees, stuff like that. I think about it all the time, honestly. But it's never fully structured, I would say. There's not a full structured thought process I have.
Yeah, you're not like this exact thing.
I don't, which, honestly would be a good thing for me to do is have a year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal plan. Just even if it's loosely based, I should probably do something like that. Or start to think about it.
Especially like retirement, like investments.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of videos on that and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize like how you actually get there. Like they just assume one day I'll retire. But it's like you need to run the numbers. How much do you need to retire?
Yeah.
Like how much income do you expect you'll need in retirement? And how much money in investments or real estate or whatever will provide you with that income?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a big thing. It's like a whole lot more than people think about.
Which, honestly, I don't know if my dad has a retirement plan or not. I have never talked to him about that. And even in that aspect, in my opinion, like once he's old enough to retire, it's my turn to take care of him. Yeah. That's how I feel, because he's taken care of me my entire life. So if he is no longer able to take care of himself,
he probably does have a retirement. They seem like they've really gotten their responsibility shit together in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Well, he could even work in part where like if you're taking over the company, he gets a percentage.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's probably his plan. But I mean, even if that wasn't his plan and he didn't have a plan and he was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, I would be like, you're going to go live at the cabin because that's your dream. I'm going to fix it up for you. I'm going to give you an income. Like you're going to be an employee, or something to where I can just give you a decent amount of income that you can live off of and just be in the cabin and live your life.
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of some of my goals is like being able to help family like that. I don't have a mom anymore, so I don't know who's going to benefit from this, but, but like, I don't know, maybe my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't watch this because then she's going to expect it.
She's going to be like,
or like my sister or whoever.
Yeah, or your brother.
But the funny thing is with that is like, people can be really generous, but if you really want to be generous, what you do is you take care of yourself now. Like you save a bunch as much as you can, you invest. You do whatever you can to make as much money as you possibly can, because then in like 10, 15 years, then you'll have excess.
Yeah.
And then you could pay off your mom's house. And
then now you have this cushion that helps you a lot.
Now you're like, okay, you don't have to work. I will give you $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
And you can just chill.
Yep. Yeah, that's
crazy.
The thing about the cabin that honestly, it makes me so mad, and I wish it wasn't this way, is that we have to pay yearly for property taxes.
Oh, that's the dude.
It's so annoying. It's like we own the property.
Taxes.
We own the how do you get to tax me for something I own?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
It's so stupid.
It's crazy to me.
Like that's the so annoying thing about this house. Like I want to pay this house off early.
Yeah.
But even when I do, I'm still gonna have to pay like $700 a month.
It's
for
wild.
Taxes. Indefinitely, and that probably goes up over time. And like,
how does that work? How do I always have to pay you for something?
How is America in a deficit? To get money on everything.
This country fucking
like
pisses
we talked
me
about
off
in like episode 74 that I was just watching.
Yeah,
income tax, spending tax, and now property tax. Like,
dude,
that's mine. I paid for it, and I still got to pay taxes on it.
that makes no sense. Yeah, because it's on federal land.
It's like, that's my land.
What the
I paid for it.
Dude, federal land doesn't make sense to me either. Like, you sold this land to me.
Yeah.
You don't get to fucking tax it.
You do.
That doesn't make any sense.
But you do.
But they do. They steal from us all the fucking time.
And they like base it on your property's value. So like, even if you wanted to buy $1 million house, and maybe you have a high income when you're young, and you buy $1 million, $2 million house.
Yeah.
You still got to factor in how much are the taxes on that once it's completely paid off. And can I afford that when I'm 85?
Yeah. This the way like it doesn't make any sense in my head is because if I were to rent or lease that land, yes, I have to pay you constantly for this because that's what that is. That's what rent and leasing is.
Mm-hmm.
A term for an amount of time that you're going to be here and you're going to pay me periodically throughout that to live there. But if I own this, why am I still paying you?
It's funny.
That makes no fucking sense.
It doesn't make sense. But you own it, kind of. You don't really own it.
Fully own it.
You rent it from the government.
Why call it owning?
You're paying. Yeah, you're paying to own land in this country.
It's so
forever
fucking crazy. I don't even know how people can like live off grid and find a place that the government will never find them.
I think they still pay taxes.
I don't think they do.
Well, I mean, off grid. Like,
I mean, okay, but technically, as a civilian, even if you're not living, like you still have taxes to pay.
Yeah,
which is weird. Just existing as an American, you have to fucking pay taxes.
Only if you make income or own land. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, you got to pay taxes if you buy something.
That's true.
If you just existed, made $0, then you wouldn't owe any taxes.
Okay.
Like kids, they don't owe taxes.
All right. Yeah, I got to look more into taxes to fully do an argument on that. But just taxes fucking piss me off so much.
Luckily, there's not a living tax yet. To breathe air.
Yeah, oxygen. You know, they're going to fucking start putting trees in a fucking tree museum.
But you really can't get by without paying them. Because if you buy food, you're paying taxes.
It's insane. It's insane. And have you seen the thing about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's net worth now?
Mm-mm. What is it?
So before he was elected, it was like, oh God, I think it was like 29 mil or something like that. And now it's 129 mil.
Dude, that happens with every president. How? Every president is worth over 100 mil.
What, dude? That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it does.
How is that fucking? You got a fucking $100 million boost on your net worth in 3 fucking years?
70 million, but still. Yeah,
and
his income is 400 grand. Like that's his president check.
It's crazy to me. And Kamala Harris too. Same thing. She got like $100 million fucking.
Yeah, dude. Because when you're president, you put laws in place for special people, and special people pay you to do a speech.
You put laws in place so you can take other people's money.
Yeah. Basically, you just get like, if you do a certain type of tax cut that really helps a company.
God.
So like if I owned a huge corporation and you're Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And there's a certain tax law that if you put into place, they will save my company $1 billion a year. It's worth it to me to pay you $50 million.
Yeah. You know? But it's a tax law. It's not a president law.
No.
It is a tax law. Goes to the government. It does not go to the president. The president does not get paid.
No, but the president can sign the law into effect.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect his specific net worth is what I'm saying.
No,
man.
it doesn't.
How the fuck does that happen?
This company that just so happened to benefit from the law you signed, I'm going to pay you a speaking fee, $50 million.
Okay.
Just to come talk.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with that law that you signed.
Damn.
Completely separate.
Yeah.
I just really like hearing you mumble about nothing.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, dude. It honestly boggles my fucking mind. Taxes everywhere. And then net worth, like that doesn't make any sense. It makes me feel like Joe Biden goes to the treasury and he's just like, one for you, one for me. Like, what the fuck, man?
Nah, that's not how it works.
It's so crazy.
Basically, the presidents, when they're in office, a big corporation comes to them and they're like, if we were to put this law into place, it would really help us. And if they pass it, then they're like, we would like to invite you to come speak and we would like to pay you a lot of money to speak.
Yeah, but that's not $100 million,
No, but
dude.
they do pay that much because the law that you put in place saved my company $1 billion. So I'm going to pay you $50 million for an unrelated speaking fee.
Okay. But but even if you were to pay me $100 million one time, my net worth is not $100 million. That doesn't make my net worth $100 million.
Okay, so $200 million.
No, that's just where things don't add up, man. I don't get it.
Also, maybe they make really good stock picks.
No,
like
I think
Pelosi.
they fucking just
like Pelosi and her husband. Their incomes were never more than like $300,000 a year for their entire careers.
Yeah,
and they have a net worth over $100 million. And Nancy Pelosi's husband has like the best stock picks of all time. Like he's outperformed every stock trader.
Wonder where he got those numbers from.
It was not insider trading. He was very smart.
I don't know.
He was a smart guy. He read the markets like no one else can do, but he did it.
That's weird. That's just, to me, it feels like, oh, Joe Biden's president now. Oh, now he magically has all these stock numbers. Yeah. Really good.
Dude, that's how every president is. Obama, if you look up his net worth before and after.
Yeah, I didn't like Obama either.
It was like 8 million, 100 million.
I bet you won't find that with Trump.
Nah, because he was already a billionaire and his whole premise was like, I'm going to not take other people's money.
Yeah, but everybody's going to talk shit about him. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The one president didn't steal money from us.
Well, he didn't do anything sketchy. Well, he probably did some sketchy shit.
No, he definitely did some sketchy. I'm not 100% about that guy.
Every president does sketchy shit.
Yeah. I don't think we've had a clean president yet.
Guys, I'm going to run for president. And if we can get enough votes, I will tell you the secrets. Whatever that briefing is they give you on day one.
I'm
the
president
briefing.
With
my iPhone, dude, and I'm going to send it on YouTube like immediately.
Like, guys, this is what it is. Check it out. They're just like, okay, first things first. Everyone's pissed at you. It's just part of the job. After that, all the conspiracies you've heard are true. That's pretty much it.
All of them? All of them.
All of them. Even the one about broccoli and cheese. Yep, that one. Like,
literally every single one.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But we cover them up.
Insane.
We're pretty good.
Dude, our country scares me, man. The whole thing with Trump right now is terrifying. And the reason why it's terrifying is because... So pretty much they've said, long story short, Trump can't run for president right now. A lot of people are pissed about that because there's no...
Do you know why?
There's no real reason. What they said...
I mean, there's probably a reason.
From what I know, the Colorado, whatever electoral college or whatever it is, they said... or their reasoning, from what I know, is that they believe if Trump is in office, he will start World War III. Which is an allegation, is not a fact.
How did Colorado decide this, and why is Colorado in charge?
It's like it's not an electoral college, but it's something else.
Yeah,
and they have I guess some sort of power to where they can say, if they have factual evidence, they can kick somebody out of candidacy.
Yeah, but like. Why do they think, like, did he say, I'm going to start World War III?
No.
Like, any president could do it.
I don't know, and I haven't spent that much time looking into it. All I know is that is pretty much the gist of what's going on. There's no real facts to it. But the other thing is, the last time that this happened to a president was Abraham Lincoln. And you know what happened when Abraham Lincoln became president? Or right after that happened?
They killed him?
Civil War.
Oh, the Civil War.
Yeah.
Wait, so they tried to stop Abraham Lincoln from being president?
They made him not able, his second time, because his first time he ran, he lost. The second time, they tried to make him ineligible. But he won. The people fought it. And he went back into candidacy.
He won.
And then there was a civil war.
And then the Civil War was because of the slaves.
Yes.
Because people wanted to keep slaves because, cheap labor.
Yes. But people are pissed off at our government right now.
Yeah.
And that could be really bad.
What is Trump's slavery?
It would be him not getting elected. Would be the people attacking the government.
No, but like...
Or be even able to
The
attack.
reason they tried to stop Abraham Lincoln is because he was going to abolish slavery.
Yeah.
I think.
Trump says
know
World
he
War
did.
III. They think he's going to be World War III.
Right, but they didn't. Oh yeah, okay.
That's their reasoning.
That's their reason. But like Abraham Lincoln's was a real reason.
Yeah.
But like what was Trump's is not a real thing.
That's what I'm saying. You're just pointing fingers saying he's going to do that. Like there's no facts, and that's why people are pissed off about it.
Yeah.
There's no facts. There's no evidence. They're just saying he's going to start World War III. And I'm sure
just because he has a big mouth, probably.
And yeah, everybody's always had a problem with Trump. Anybody can fucking agree with that.
The world could end. I mean,
it's crazy, man.
Trump could start World War III, but he could also protect us from losing World War III or like dying.
Trump can start World War III, or we're gonna have a civil war in our country. Like that's where we're at right now.
Putin could start it.
Dude, anybody could start it.
Could start it.
Anybody can fucking like. There's so many countries.
Anyone can start it, and Trump's not an idiot.
Nukes.
Like pretty much anyone that has an IQ above 12 knows that if we send a nuke, they send a nuke, and the whole world is over. So we're just waiting for a crazy person that's going to do that. And Trump, he talks a lot, but he's not a crazy person. Like he's not going to send a nuke and start the end of the world.
Yeah,
like he's not dumb.
I know. And the other
people
thing
think he's
is,
dumb.
Like we have the Russian and Ukraine war. That might not have happened if Trump was in office. There's a good chance that probably wouldn't have happened.
He'd be like, "I'll fuck you up, homie."
Yeah, well, he was already in with frickin' Putin. He was in his they were partners in something.
Yeah.
Or they
that's
had
what
an
Trump says though, because you heard that because on podcast Trump goes on there and he's like, Putin never would have done this. He never would have moved into Ukraine.
That's
if I
true. But he also had videos of him and Putin meeting and shaking hands and greeting each other.
Yeah, lots of people.
You don't see that with Biden though.
Dude, you don't see anything with Biden because he can't speak.
Biden can't even stand up, man. How is that guy running our country? It's insane to me. And the other thing that's insane to me is that people are still for Joe Biden.
I don't know how anyone is still on his side.
That's wild.
Like, screw all the politics about it, but his brain is fried. Like, dude, he's just nothing against him, but it's just like he has like dementia or something.
Well, I mean, even honestly, in my opinion, I thought he was a bad vice president. But even without politics, if you take politics out of it and you put this man in a chair and you talk to him for 5 minutes, he will not understand anything you said.
Yeah.
And he will not remember your name. He will not know who you are because he has Alzheimer's. He's got dementia.
Yeah.
He's not all there in the head.
And if you don't believe that, then you're a dunce.
Then watch any video of him in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And you will see that this guy doesn't know what is going on.
I don't know how people can even try to deny that.
It boggles my mind.
Dude, he's obviously old Grandpa Joe and doesn't know what the hell's going on.
It's like my grandpa has Alzheimer's and he's had Alzheimer's for 10 years. And I bet you he could beat Joe Biden in an argument. Like it's that sad, man. And my grandpa doesn't remember who I am half the time. I mean, I'm there all the time.
I don't want Kamala to be president,
no.
but like, at least she can think clearly.
Yeah, I'd rather her
than him.
I'm
surprised we haven't
even though I don't agree with her, I'd rather her be in office than that guy. I mean, it's sad.
If Biden didn't have so many friends in high places, I feel like there would have already been some kind of vote to be like, yo, the president's not all there. We need to do something about that.
It's wild to me that he can't get impeached for having Alzheimer's. Like nobody's even really tried.
Well, we tried be, so but no one trying.
People tried so hard with Trump to get him impeached.
Yeah, they're trying to cover it up. I mean, like, has he really had a doctor do the tests? And like,
I mean, I'm sure he has, but they threw him away.
Yeah, like I don't think any doctor, like legit neuroscientist or whatever kind of doctor, like a
neurologist or something.
Yeah, neurologist, whatever kind that like
studies the brain.
Oh, what's it called? Diagnoses Alzheimer's or dementia. If they looked at him, I feel like they would find something.
They would find everything. If you just compare
a video of him 30 years ago. Or even when he was vice president.
Not even that long ago. Like
8 years ago when he was vice president, or however long ago that was, to now, it's like he could speak and he could hold thoughts together, and now he cannot.
It's crazy. Like even during his candidacy, he wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't
pretty as bad, but he's getting worse. Like, he's getting like progressively worse.
You would catch it every now and then and be like, Is he all right?
But now it's just like,
but now it's just belligerently, he has Alzheimer's.
you're like, are you drunk?
Yeah.
What if he's just drunk?
What
if he's just like a pure alcoholic?
And then I loved when the children smelled and touched my leg hair.
Like he just gets anxiety, so he gets blitzed like every time.
How much have you had to drink, Joe? What's going on here?
Out of it.
I'm here to talk to the black children. All right, Joe, get out of here. You're drunk. Go home.
This is not 1912.
He's like, oh, the year was 1912. Today. What? No.
All right, guys, we are running out of time, and Nick has to get this edited.
I do got to get it edited.
I'll try not to. I mean, I don't think the length really matters the way you edit it now, but
yeah, it'll be all right.
Thank you guys for watching, listening, etc., etc. Leave your comments if you're watching on YouTube. Leave a review if you're watching on other places or listening on other places. And we'll see you in the next one.
Adios, amigos.